Tonight, after years of warnings, the Bitcoin bubble might finally have burst. With predictions, cryptocurrencies have entered one final death spiral.
Fortune favors the brave.
Cheers, Matt Damon, but I reckon these guys would disagree.
What will be the bottom of this crazy, scary crash?
There's almost like a war going on right now.
The most depressing candle we have seen since ages.
The start of a string of bankruptcies and despair.
Those dorks are down in the dumps after the price of leading cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, both tumbled more than 35% last week. A sector worth more than $3 trillion regular US dollars back in 2020 has now shared more than 2/3 of its total value. But while it's tempting to poke fun at all the motor-mouthed crypto bros,
Celsius, Babel, and Finblocks have frozen or capped withdrawals.
the carnage is spilling into the mainstream this time. The $85 billion US dollar collapse of Luna last month saw some investors lose their life savings.
My big concern is that Bitcoin and crypto has been put forward as kind of a get-rich-quick scheme over the past year or so when there's been explosive growth.
And as the global downturn gathers pace, those more traditional institutions are getting the hell out of Doge.
A lot of traditional financial institutions, banks, have been investing in crypto and getting a little bit more exposure to it. Interest rates are crawling up and people are looking for maybe less risky places to park their assets.
Of course, crypto's crashed before and it's bounced straight back. So will crypto rebound again, or has the blockchain bubble really burst this time?
The pain of this crypto winter could go for a very long time.
Dogecoin founder Jackson Palmer is both a crypto creator and critic, and he joins us now. Jackson, what does this latest crypto crash mean? Is it the end, or is it another false bottom?
I think it's a little too early to say we're at the end. I think what it really represents is just a lot of people realizing the systemic risk and the high levels of risk that are present in cryptocurrency. And a lot of the kind of, if you think of it as a house of cards, some of the cards at the bottom of that have started to crumble.
Okay, so from my limited knowledge about cryptocurrency, the idea is that it doesn't just follow the stock market. It's meant to be a currency and therefore stable. Have we been taken for a ride?
Well, the interesting thing is that it actually isn't necessarily the cryptocurrencies that caused this crash. The underlying reason behind this latest crash is that there is something called a DeFi, or decentralized finance, which you might have heard of. And there's some providers in that space that are called CeFi, or centralized finance, who kind of act like banks in a way. They give out loans. And for the longest time, they've been giving out these loans with incredibly high interest rates. Like I'm talking like 20%, which you'd never hear of in a regular savings account. What we're starting to realize, and what the market's starting to realize, is that those lenders were also kind of gambling and reinvesting user funds to make up the 20%. And obviously when you're doing that, all it takes is one of those things that you're kind of making a bet on to crash, and then it sets off all the whole kind of chain reaction of dominoes.
For a lot of people, though, the attraction of crypto is that the government can't get at it. So if you start regulating it, and it sounds like we really should, does it still have a reason to exist?
I think there are some people that see cryptocurrency as becoming just a more convenient, and that's their words, not mine, more convenient way of doing traditional finance because it's more digital in nature. But, I think we're at a point now where if you start to apply all those regulations and everything like that, the value proposition of cryptocurrency is like, what is it anymore? It's pretty easy to use electronic banking these days.
So, Jackson, what about the average person who's got a bit of cash in crypto? How would they be feeling right now?
I think they should just be realizing that a lot of the industry is being held up by a lot of these kind of shady practices, these shady deals that are happening in closed rooms. And the fact that, just a single one of these companies collapsing can cause the price of Bitcoin to drop by 5% in 1 minute. Which is just crazy when you really think about it. Literally billions of dollars wiped off the table in the space of 1 minute. I think that says a lot about just how risky this is. And, I think, I probably sound like a broken record when I say that because people have been hearing that a lot. But I think this kind of crash, if you want to call it that, is hopefully a wake-up call for a lot of people that say, wow, this thing, doesn't look too different from a roulette table. Maybe I should think twice.
Jackson Palmer, a pleasure speaking to you and your guitars.
Thank you very much.